So I have just bought Komplete 14. At least I've ordered it. I'm just waiting for it to arrive. Now, I spent a lot of time wondering whether or not it was worthwhile to upgrade or not. So I would like to share my reasoning with you in the hope that it might help you if you are having a similar dilemma. I will tell you what I paid. I will tell you what I upgraded from and how much I paid for that. I will look at this from 2 points of view, from someone who has not yet bought into the Komplete ecosystem and is wondering whether it is worthwhile or not, and also from the point of view of someone who has some version of Komplete and is wondering whether it is worthwhile upgrading. In the process, I will also give you a few thoughts and opinions about some of the software in the bundle. So if you're up for that, let's get started. So if you access Native Instruments website, you get lots of wonderful information about Komplete 14. You can explore this at your leisure. There is a lot to look at. However, the page you want, I suggest, is this, where Native helpfully compares the different versions and tells you exactly what they contain and what you get. I shall leave a link to this page in the description, although it's easy enough to find from the website itself. So let's have a look first of all at what is available. So there are 4 versions: Komplete Select, Komplete Standard, Komplete Ultimate and Komplete Collector's Edition. And if you have a look at the first few entries in this table, it tells you how many instruments you get, how many effects, how many expansions, how big the size is, of course, and crucially, what the price is. So let's have a quick look at the pricing. I'm in the UK, so these prices are in pounds. The entry-level Select is £179, but you will see that this is free with an S-Series keyboard. Now, I don't know exactly how you are going to use these instruments, but I'm a keyboard player, so I use a keyboard. So if you don't have a good MIDI controller keyboard, it is certainly worth considering buying an S-Series keyboard and getting a free copy of Select. One of the disadvantages of this package, I feel, is that you only get the Contact player. You do not get the full version of Contact, so this will not play every single sample library. Now, if you're not really at the sample libraries, then that may not affect you, but there are hundreds of free sample libraries out there, many of which do in fact require the full version of Contact. So if that interests you, this may be a deal breaker. But on the other hand, if you just want to put your toe in the water, see what it's about, then this is the cheapest way into Komplete. So the standard version is the first version with a full version of Contact, and you get many more instruments and effects and libraries and extensions and so on. £539. You can upgrade from any version of Komplete from version 2. So if you bought one, I don't know how long this has been out, 20 years ago, if you have version 2, you can buy this for £179. So if you do have an earlier version of Komplete, then this upgrade price at £179 I think represents absolutely excellent value. So let's move on to the Ultimate and the Collector's Editions. Now, before we look at these, I will tell you what I had, what I upgraded from, and why I bought it. This is very relevant to these 2 packages, I think. So here is a look at my recent orders. Yes, here is Komplete 14, but before that, I had Komplete Ultimate 12. 12 Ultimate Collector's Edition. They've dropped the Ultimate from the Collector's Edition with this latest release, and you can see here I paid the grand sum of £249 for it. So this was the top bundle, and the upgrade price was only £249. So the upgrade has jumped up around £200. Now, if you have a Native Instruments account, you can log in to see what your Komplete offers are, and these were my Komplete offers. So you can see that upgrading to the Standard Edition of 14 or the Ultimate Edition of 14 would cost exactly the same, £359. So Native obviously does not want me to downgrade to Standard. So I mean, this is just so, it doesn't make any sense, to be honest, this pricing system. So there's absolutely no point in even considering standard. So for me, the question was, if I am going to upgrade, should I go for the Ultimate or the Collector's Edition? Now the Collector's Edition is another £90. So let me explain how I made the decision. Now I would like to tell you why I upgraded to Komplete 12 Ultimate Collector's Edition, or the Collector's Edition, rather than just the Ultimate Edition. Now in Komplete 12, the main, if not the only difference, if memory serves, and I'm going back a few years, the only difference between the Ultimate and the Collector's Edition was that the Collector's Edition included all the expansions. So if you are not familiar with Native Instrument expansions, let me explain what they are. If we strip away the trappings and look behind the curtain, they are essentially collections of presets. Now I have to say, I think they are very excellent presets, but essentially these are preset packs for some of Native Instruments instruments. Let's have a look at a couple. So this is the expansions page on the Native Instruments website. The graphics are wonderful. The descriptions were written by a marketer. They typically have around 150 presets. Some of them have more, some of them have more loops, some of them have more samples. This is just a small selection of some of the expansions. There must be more than 100 expansions in total. So you need specific instruments. You need to have part of the complete ecosystem in order to use these expansions. That might be Massive or Monarch or Battery for the drum kits. Now the expansions, I think, were originally developed to supplement and complement Machine. So if you have Machine, then these are ideal preset packs for them because they map directly to the pads and they are very easy to work with in Machine. However, if you don't have Machine, if you just have a keyboard, then you can still use them, although accessing some of the presets is a little more fragmented, shall we say. If an expansion has Massive presets, for example, you need to go to Massive and select the particular expansion bank in Massive, and then you will get the presets. Same for Battery and Monarch and anything else which they might use. You can access the kits through Battery, of course, as a plugin, and that is probably the easiest way, although there are alternatives. I think other people on YouTube have done videos on how you can access the kits in different ways. So the expansions typically sell for £44 each. Some are more expensive. When I was considering Komplete 12, I calculated that by buying Komplete 12, I got the expansions at somewhere between £3 and £4 each. So that was an offer I could not refuse. Now, having said that, as I said, I am more keyboard based. I no longer have Machine. So my use of the expansions is rather more limited. So let me show you what software I have on Native Access. So this is my current Native Instruments collection, as you can see in Native Access. By the way, if your Native Access looks different, you may still be working with version 1. This is version 2. Now, unlike the programs in Native Access itself does not seem to automatically update, and I discovered that there was a version 2 by accident. It's essentially the same thing, but it has a few more features. It lets you see the synthesizers and the expansions separately, which is very useful. So if you want the latest version of Native Access, you can get it from the Native Instruments website. Now this tells me I have 200 and odd pieces of software registered. They're not all from Native Instruments, as some other companies such as Spitfire produce software which is NKS compatible, which allows it to run in Komplete Kontrol, which again is very useful. But I'm going to click on this tab which says available. In the previous version it said not installed or something like that, and this shows that I have over 40 pieces of software not yet installed. And what are these? Well, the majority are expansions. So I spent 90 quid or whatever buying all these expansions. I haven't installed them all. What actually happened, to give you the full story, I had a machine crash a year and a half, 2 years ago. All the major installation files and so on were on separate disks, but the main drive crashed, so I had to reinstall everything. And rather than install all my native Instruments software in one go, I thought it would be nice to install them a few at a time and to try them out and play with them so I could get to know them. So I did this, and I worked my way through the expansions, and I just sort of lost the will to load another expansion and play with it. So for me, and this is obviously a personal consideration, for me, I'm not really interested in any more expansions. So to get back to our bundles here, I was expecting that the collector's edition would just contain expansions which were not available from Ultimate. I thought, that's fine, I shall just upgrade to the Ultimate Collection. Now, this is my method. I know, I'm sorry you've taken a while to get here, but it's basically simple. It's something you probably thought of doing yourself, but maybe you just need a bit of a kick to get round to doing it. So what I did, as my choice was between the Ultimate and the Collector's Edition, I went through the list of instruments, synthesizers, effects, and so on. And it's going to take you a few minutes, but it's quite enjoyable if you like sort of nerdy things, looking through lists, but discovering synthesizers and effects and stuff like that, which I found interesting. So I went through the list and made a short list of the instruments and effects that I was really interested in. Now, this was not a list of the instruments that I did not have. These were things which I really wanted. I was really interested in them. I wanted to try them. And I did this for the Ultimate Bundle, and I also did it for the Collector's Edition. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a second. So let me show you my list. This is a list of the instruments in the Ultimate Bundle, and down here on the right hand side, the Collector's Edition that I'm really interested in. So this is obviously a very personal selection, but if you use a similar principle, then hopefully you can come to some sort of conclusion and decision about whether you should upgrade or not. So for me, there are enough new instruments here for me to want to upgrade to, certainly to the Ultimate Bundle. If you were to add up the cost of each of these individually, I don't know what it would come to. I find it a little bit surprising that Native Instruments does not say along with the price section, this has a total value of X £1,000, because it probably does. However, I'm going to say a bit more about that a little later. So £359 for all of these made total sense. I will probably spend months exploring them all. So these are the instruments in the Collector's Edition that I was interested in. Now, the main feature of the Collector's Edition is that you do get all the expansions, which, as I have explained, I am not at all interested in. Now, I have put the current price of these instruments beside them. The Omnia Choir has not yet been released, so I don't have a figure on that. I suspect it will also be £179, but quite possibly it will be in the 200s. This Knifonium, or however you pronounce it, this is a bit of a strange beast. By the time you read this, you would need to check the website, but at the moment, let me see if I can find the website. So this seems to be saying that the retail price is $299, but it is on sale for $24. Now, if that is absolutely true and you don't want anything else at all, if this is still available by the time you read this, I would absolutely go and snap this up. That seems a rather large price drop. However, I have to say $299 for this piece of software, I think, is just slightly overpriced. But whether you think that's good value or not, that is up to you to make your decision. But this is a really fascinating piece of software. I'm really looking forward to trying this. It emulates a piece of hardware, and I think this is it. And it consists of umpteen valves. It's a synthesizer. It's a valve-based synthesizer, and you can see down here it is handmade, and the next batch will be available in 1 to 2 years. So if you think the OBX8 is expensive, check out the price of this. I heard somewhere that was around 16 grand. So I am really looking forward to playing with the software version. So even if we totally discount the cost of this, then I'm still getting about 500 or 600 quid's worth of software for £90. So in that sense, I think that is probably worthwhile as well. So that is essentially why I bought the Komplete 14 Collector's Edition. So if we go back to the bundles, you will see that included in these two bundles is Ozo 10 Standard. Now you might wonder why I haven't included this in my list, because it is quite a neat piece of software. I actually have Ozone 9, which I bought in a Black Friday deal along with other pieces of iZotope software, so I wasn't desperately interested in upgrading to Ozone 10. But again, this is just my personal situation. So the other thing worth commenting on is the inclusion of these Symphony series instruments. So you get essential versions with the Ultimate Edition, but the full version with the Collector's Edition. Now again, this is a very personal thing, but I have umpteen string brass libraries from Spitfire and other companies, so this didn't really interest me a massive amount. They are very interesting. One thing I did find, which I really found very annoying as well, is that they seem for some reason to be mixed at very low volumes. So if you want to include these sort of instruments with synthesizers or anything else, then you really have to make quite a serious volume adjustment to make them fit into the mix. So it's just another level of hassle which you could do without. So I tend not to use the ones I already have. So yes, these would be really super to have in your collection, but again, for me personally, not something which I was particularly interested in. So let's just get back to the price. For me, I took this price and divided it by the number of instruments I was interested in, and I got a very nice figure. That was on a per instrument basis. If you want to be really nerdy, you can go onto the site and see how much each individual instrument would cost on its own, add them up, and then you can see how much you are saving by buying the bundle. So there is no doubt that these bundles do represent very good value even at the full price, but that assumes that you really want every single instrument in the bundle. So to find out if these bundles are going to be good value for you, I would suggest you make a list of the pieces of software which you really would like, and then work out the cost per piece of software, if you like, as I have done, and make a decision based on that. Everyone is different, so I've no idea what your list might contain. Now, if you have not yet bought into the Komplete ecosystem, you could possibly do something similar, although I suspect if you are not terribly familiar with the instruments in the bundles, then you might have a bit of a harder job. The best thing I can say, I think, is that there's no doubt that these are good value for money, but to just make sure that you want everything and you're going to really use everything. Otherwise you spend a lot of money on stuff you're not going to use. I'm spending a lot of money on expansions which I am not going to use, but that goes with the territory when you buy stuff in bundles. Now, I have been using Komplete since version 8 or 9. I think it is a wonderful collection of instruments when bought in a bundle. If you have to buy these individually, I do not think they are particularly good value. I have to say, individual instruments at £179, £200 odd. You know, is that good value for a piece of software? Well, maybe you think it is, in which case fine. So it is just my opinion that a lot of software is overpriced. I made the same point about Arturia's V collection. I made a video about that. You can check out the card up there and I'll link into the description. So the prices of some of these individual pieces of software I just really don't think are realistic, but the prices being what they are, if you can buy them in a bundle, then this makes them, let's say, a more sensible price, and certainly, I will admit, good value for money. I hope that has helped in some small way if you are on the fence trying to decide whether to upgrade or to buy into Komplete. So I am looking forward to having a lot of fun with these instruments. As most of these are already available, you can check out reviews and walkthroughs of most of these individual instruments already. However, one thing to remember, which I think I sometimes forget in my pursuit of another synthesizer or into the sample library is, at the end of the day, it is the music that matters, and you can make great music with just about anything. What if you only had a piano? How did Beethoven manage? And now we have a complete orchestra at our fingertips, as well as sounds which the likes of Beethoven could never even have imagined. So don't forget that ultimately it is about the music. So I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it useful if you are on the fence about an upgrade or getting into Komplete. And do please let me know in the comments if you do upgrade or get into Komplete. Let me know what you got. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the instruments. Let me know what you think of the videos. Talk to me. Just talk to me. I love to hear from you. I love to hear what you're doing and what you're using. And if you did enjoy this video, perhaps you would like to consider subscribing to the channel, ringing the bell. Thank you. So YouTube will tell you whenever I post a new video. And if you would like to click the big thumb, that really does help a lot, and it helps me know that I am making videos that you want to watch. So that is a big help. As always, I really do appreciate you spending your time watching my videos. So for that, thank you very much indeed. I will see you soon in the next one.